Increasingly, I have been a big fan of taking notes wherever you go. And today I will show you two gadgets I've found to be very interesting and to give you some commentary around that. At the moment, I am testing these two gadgets. And the idea is I'm going to have to keep one of them and get rid of one of them or return one of them. So before doing that, I want to share with you if you are in the market like me of purchasing this, so you can save yourself having to go through the return process and make an informed decision. To my left is the Soundcore Work. It's a recording device, and I'll talk about this some more. And to my right, depending on how this shows, taking this off, attached to my phone, is the Notta gadget. So just from a form factor perspective, you can see clearly different. Now, let me take this out of the case. For the Notta, it's not easy. Once you get into the case, you kind of have to struggle with it. So I think that in itself should speak volume. I'm having to use that button to take it out. So this is what the Notta looks like. I was pretty impressed with how small this is. And here you have this kind of a tactile surface, two buttons. This one is to record with your phone, and then this one is essentially to hit record, and I'll go through that. So this is the form factor of it. Now you can use this Notta as such, or you can use it in the case. So put it in the case, and this case has a magnetic. I'm not even sure if that's the case. Let's see. Does it go? No. All right. So you need the case for it to use the MagSafe on your iPhone. So let's go ahead and put that in here. So ideally, it should be in the case as such. Now, this is the Notta app. I'll talk about what that is. Now, on my hand right now is the Soundcore Work. And this form factor is a little bit different. If you see, just from a thickness perspective, this is supposed to be kind of a credit card size without the case. With the case, it becomes a little bit thicker. And this is itself, look, compare the height, a little bit smaller, but definitely thicker. Now, that's not the selling point. Let's see what the selling point here is. This is essentially what people will talk about when they compare the Soundcore Work. This is this small device. You open this up as such. It's so tiny, my fingers can't even open it up. And you clip this to your clothes and you can talk and you can put this away. So from a form factor perspective, to be fair, you might essentially be comparing this tiny device to this. So in one way, this is essentially what you're comparing when in active mode. Now, if you put this back onto the case, and it's not the easiest way to put it back. I have to fiddle with this. How did this get in? Oh, there you go. It kind of tricky to get in. Put this back in the case, and you're essentially comparing this form factor to this form factor. So that's it. Now, depending on what you want, and that's why I'm doing this test, because some part of me likes this form factor to my right, because you can attach that to your phone. And in theory, you walk around with your phone like this. My case is not the best right now. I have to change that case, but this is an iPhone 15. And you walk around with this. And if you need this, it's available right there. And if you don't need it, take it away. And now you've got your phone the way it is. So that's the selling point for this form factor. Now, if we go back to this form factor, you really don't have that ability to put on your phone as such. Well, maybe you can, actually. You can, but it's not natural. It's a little bit bulky being there. And to me, the idea behind this would be put this in your pocket, and then you take this and use it wherever you need. Attach it to your clothes, attach it like a lapel, and that's going to be the use case for this if I was using this. And at least that's how I've been using this so far, because I had this first. So that's that. Now, form factor is one thing to consider. What else stood out to me is how do you charge these devices? The Notta comes with this charging cable. So it's essentially You have a USB on the end, and on the right side, you have this proprietary charging port, and there's 4 pins. You align it. If you go this way, it doesn't fit. So you have to get the alignment correct, and then it fits. So just watch me do that again. Go this way, it doesn't fit, and if I come this way, the alignment, it eventually fits. And why am I emphasizing that? This is because it reminds me of if you ever used the old USB before we had USB-C, where if you wake up at night and you don't have the USB, that older USB port correctly, it doesn't go in until you have to flip the cable to get it going. And the beauty of USB-C is you can just, any way you wake up, you can just put USB-C in and it fits, right? It can go both ways. So for them to make it, I understand that the magnetic stuff here aligns it, but to me, it's just another thing to struggle with. And even if I get over this fact that you can go either way to align it, if you just wake up and you want to throw this, is having to have another cable to walk around with, another proprietary cable to carry with you. And I'm not really a fan of that. So I don't understand why. I know the form factor maybe makes USB-C difficult to fit in, but I wish there was a different way to charge, because I'm not a fan of walking around with cables. I have a Garmin watch here. It has a proprietary cable. I have my iPhone with USB-C. Now you got this with another proprietary cable. So you're walking around with this proprietary cable, with the Garmin watch proprietary cable, with your USB-C, and sooner or later it just gets to be too much. Now let's compare that to the Soundcore. The reason why I kind of enjoy this is here you can see there is a USB-C, and very straightforward. Just plug it in and that's it. Now, if I'm going for a trip, and that's one of my use cases for this, I essentially have one cable and I can charge this, I can charge my phone, I can charge my computer, and you solve all the problems without having to remember to keep one in your car, one in the house, when you start dealing with proprietary cables like that. So I'm not a big fan of proprietary cables, but I understand why they have that. So that's two things to consider. So we've talked about the form factor, completely different form factors. I believe it or not, I enjoyed this one, but for the use case I have, I think just the simplicity and just how talk this could be on your clothes, and you're doing stuff, hiking or so. I'm kind of leaning towards this a little bit more. Now, this is not the winner, but I'll tell you that just from a form factor, I prefer that. But we still have to figure out who the winner is, in my opinion. Now, so that's the form factor. Now, we've talked about charging. Both of these do come with a mobile app, and I wouldn't go through to show the mobile app, but they do both come with a mobile app. Here is the challenge. This Soundcore has just the mobile app. So if I go here on the website, they have a website. If you're using Mac or Android, I believe Android too. For Mac, I know for sure. You have this mobile app. You can download that and use on your phone, and it's really good. I'll do a separate demo on the mobile app, but that mobile app experience is there. What I like about Notta is not only do they have a mobile app which pairs with your phone, but there is also the web version. So you can come into the web version, and to me, this gives you a little more robustness in terms of having to tag your recordings, categorize them, integrate them to things. So Notta is more mature in that perspective compared to the Soundcore. And so if I was to give a rating for that, it will go to Notta compared to Soundcore, just from the maturity. Now, on their website, I won't be surprised if Soundcore is working on a web-based app as well. But right now, they have just the app on your phone. And the app is cool, and I enjoyed it. It works the way it should. But more often than not, I like to come to my computer and get things sorted out, and I would love to have that version. I do understand why they don't have it for security. I think Soundcore really wants to keep everything local. They only send things to their servers based on my reading of them, just for transcription, and then they don't persist that. So you know that all your recording, especially if you're doing private recording and such, your private conversations, your private note, or your private diaries and things, that you're not putting that into the cloud. And so that's the case why this, I think they're going down that path of not being in the cloud too much except for transcription. Meanwhile, this Noda is really a cloud first service. And there is an argument to be made these days that almost everything we do is in the cloud. So, but there is security around it. I know there is encryption and things that both of them, I believe, have implemented from a security perspective. So that's something to be aware of. Now, one thing I also want to touch on is, we've touched on the app functionality. To me, is the integration. Integration was a big piece. My workflow, just to give you an idea, is taking the voice memos and such that I need to take, but then persisting that in Google Drive. Some people put it into Notion. Notion is not my content management system. My knowledge, or PKM, which people call your personal knowledge management, or so, for me is Google Drive and Google Docs and such. So being able to have the audio recorded, transcribed, summarized, and intelligently brought into Google Drive, which I can pick up with Gemini from there, was a big requirement, or is a big requirement for me. And as of talking right now, the Soundcore doesn't have a Google Drive integration on their app. If I go to the Soundcore app, I might be able to pull it up here on my phone. If I go to the Soundcore app, as far as I know, I don't want to pull it up here to show all my recordings, but they don't have that integration to Google Drive. But they say it's coming. So that's just one limitation to be aware of with Soundcore. Now, if that comes, that would be great. So you can record and have that automatically sent over to Google Drive. Now, if we go over to Noda, apparently they do have integration. So coming in here to their website, I don't know if this will show up on the screen. They have a robust library of integrations here. You can see Google Calendar, Slack, Google Drive is what I want, and they have the ability to connect to Google Drive, and you can type in your email addresses and sign into Google Drive. So to me, that would be a big plus. The only caveat I have seen is the app experience so far with Nota is just filled with, it's unbelievable. It's just filled with ads. Just to show you guys, like there's just ads everywhere. You can't do any single stuff without the app. So here I have a recording. If you can see, let me make sure that I'm not showing the complete recording. Click on the recording, and before you generate stuff, it seems to be ads every single way. There's something I want to show you guys that I saw. Where is that in terms of the integration? It was, all right, it was, okay. So if we come over to the apps here, and this is the Nota app experience, click on integration. You click on connect. It's going to Notion. It shows us Notion and Slack, which is surprising to me. So why would they say Google Drive on the web, but on the phone it seems to be just Notion and Slack? So there is just some things that are a little bit funky here that I need to figure out. But assuming that they have the Google Drive integration, to me that would be a big plus. Even if I have to come to my PC and set up the integration to move files as soon as I create them, I'll be fine with that, right? I wouldn't complain with that too much. So just again, something to be 100% aware of. Now, one thing, and I didn't capture this during the process, but I definitely noticed it, that this Nota hardware just kept not connecting to my phone, and it would disconnect, and I would do it a couple of times and do a firmware upgrade for it to really pair to it. So that was it was something I noticed. I hope it's not a long-term thing. Maybe just opening up from the box caused that. But when I did the Soundcore, I did not have any issues. It just paired, and it stayed paired for forever. One other thing too, again, just from a form factor perspective, is the difference is the way it works. So here with the Soundcore, so just watch me with this. You have this button here. That's it. One button, and that's all you have once you have it paired. If I want to record, I simply hit this button. Watch it, the color comes up and it's yellow. I'll search, or kind of amber, but it's more yellow color. And right now it's recording whatever it is I'm saying. And if I take this away, it's recording, and there is hours and hours of recording that this can do. And that's it. Just hit that. It has a haptic feedback that tells you that it's actually recording. And if I'm done, just simply hit that. The haptic sound clicks again, and it stops recording. So wake up in the morning, or whatever the use case is, pick this up, just record, have the conversation, and you're done. It syncs over to the phone. This one is similar. If you want to record with this, you essentially, there is a button here. You might not notice as well, but it does exist. So just push on this, hold it down, and then you get that haptic feedback. And here you have an LCD that tells you it's recording. So this is just the amber yellow button that shows this. You get an LCD telling you the recording is happening. Now, some people might say, well, it's cool that this has an LCD. I agree that it's cool, but the tendency with this is it tends to consume more power. So if my guess about the battery life, once you start putting LCD and stuff, is that this will have a lower battery life than this. But I haven't tested that yet fully, but that would be my suspicion. So LCD is not always the best just because you can see it on the screen. I don't mind having just a yellow button that tells me it's recording and or not. I don't rely on the button, whether it's pushed in or not. I just simply look at the color. Is it recording or not? And this one, I could see it if I turn off the light, that maybe, and my light is not by me here, but if I turn it off, this could be distracting at night, right? If you are recording at night or so and you just have this light all over the place, it could be annoying. So just something to be aware of. I get it that if the goal is to put it on the back of your phone and such, and that this light might not show up, but it's still just something to be aware of. Now, again, my use case, when we talk about recording stuff like this, there is the whole idea of privacy. My use case is for a personal use. So I'm not worried about privacy or obfuscating stuff, because it's just for my own use, for hikes and such. So that's how I intend to use it. But for some people, they might have use cases that entails concealment, entails stuff like that. You decide. I'm not recommending or making any judgments here. But then having this obvious stuff here, it might not work for you. So keep that in mind as you make your decision. Now, so this is still recording. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, press it and hold, and then it goes off and the recording stops, and you get the haptic feedback that this has stopped recording. Again, in terms of just that form factor, I prefer this button, even though you might accidentally hit this. I could see in the pocket, fidgeting or such, accidentally hit this to record and not realize it just like that. But with this, you really have to be intentional. Like, you gotta take your finger, and there is almost like a deep groove here. Put it right in there, and not just one press, right? One press just simply tells you the battery level, and that's connected with Bluetooth. And I believe you can connect with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, but it's connected with Bluetooth. And you really have to hold it for like 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Then it's connected. So accidents could happen with this, in my opinion, but I don't see accidents happening with this one as easy as it could with this one. So just again, something to be aware of. Now, how quickly your recordings show up on the app. I'm looking at my app here. They are almost instantaneously. So whatever recording you have will show up on the app just right away. So let's see. I'm looking at my app right now. Just bear with me if I'm not bringing that on the screen. Again, disconnected. So accidents could happen with this, so, in my opinion, but that's the recording already on the app. And this one app is for the Notta app. You can do the AI transcribe and all of that. Again, this is not a demo of the app. This is a demo of the hardware itself. So, but the sync to the app is pretty instantaneous. And have we had a sync And here is a sync to the web, I believe, right away as we talk. So yeah, right here, this is the Notta app, and now you have the sync. It detects speakers on the web. So that was pretty quick, all right? And you can share this, and you can interact with this. If you have your Google Drive set up, my idea would be that this will just directly sync up those nodes into the Google Drive. You can get a mind map out of it. The AI is pretty cool, but I wouldn't rely on the AI here. I have other AI, Google Gemini and Anthropic and Claude and ChatGPT that I would prefer to use. And Google Drive for me is where I want my data, not here. So having that sync up there to me is a big requirement. And as far as I understand, this has it and this doesn't. So pros and cons for both. I think we've seen quite a bit of pros and cons for both. Now, how quickly, in terms of subscriptions, let me touch on that. They both require subscriptions for them to work. I can tell you, Nota has just been with the. I've spent about maybe a couple hours with it. They have like given me like 10 subscriptions already. Or to push for subscriptions here is $97 or also a year, and they're gonna give you a discount, give you 15-day trial, 3-day trial. They'll just hit you with that so much. So far, it's not as much pressure from Soundcore, but to me, I will pay for a service if I'm gonna get value out of it. So I'm not too worried about that aspect of it. To me, it's more about the form factor, because if the form factor is not good, you end up not walking around with the device, then you don't use it the way you want to use it as such. So I'm really more concerned about having the right form factor and the right integration, and that will take care of most things. So that was it. A big comparison between the two, the Nota app and the Soundcore. Now, the last one, and I kept this for the last, is recording personal phone calls. So if you have a phone call that comes through to your iPhone, like I do, or whatever phone you have, and you want a way to record that, I believe Apple now has a way to like record calls. Again, I'm not talking about privacy here. I'm not advising around that. I'm just simply explaining what's happening. You could use the software approach, but this also gives you a hardware approach to record phone calls. I haven't tried it yet. Maybe we'll run a test on that. And the way you would do that is this button here. My understanding is so right now you can see the button is not toggled, but if you toggle that up, it's not easy. So you can see this shows, let's bring that back. You can see it shows phone available for phone recording. Now, if I get a phone call, it will record that phone call just by it doesn't work with software. Based on, again, on my research, is that it just simply picks the ambient interaction and records that. So if you're just talking to the phone, it will pick that up. But will it work if you have a Bluetooth paired and you're talking to a phone paired with Bluetooth? How does that work? I really don't know. I'll do a separate test on that. But having this functionality could be another plus. So you have one app that can record your phone calls directly on the phone, and then it can also record your notes. So in one form factor. This doesn't give you that, right? You're not gonna take the Soundcore and record phone calls with that. So what that means is you're gonna need a separate solution to record phone calls. So part of me just wish all those functionalities were in one, but it seems like we can't get everything in one. I really like the form factor for this personally, this little guy that you can move. But the fact that this can record phone calls as well, and it has better integrations, makes it difficult. So I still have a few days to play with it. And even though this one has good integrations, like we've seen, it has proprietary cables that makes it even more challenging. And this one doesn't have to deal with all the proprietary cables, but you can accidentally record stuff. So it's a tough choice. It's a tough choice. The AI, that's up for debate whether or not the software translation and the AI aspect of it is cool, but the hardware is what's keeping me up at night. So which one would you guys go with? If I were to go with one right now, and I'm not recommending this, it's a very tough choice. Maybe I'll keep both, but I don't have the funds to keep both. In terms of price, this was a little bit more expensive. This was about $148 or $150 on Amazon, and this was close to $98, so a little bit cheaper. So this is definitely more expensive than that. Subscription amounts, I think they're kind of similar, roughly $100 a month, a year for both of them. So that aspect is fine. So hardware perspective, this is that. It's a tough choice. It's a really, really tough choice on which one to keep. If this had the integration to Google Drive, it would be a no-brainer for me. I'm just gonna keep this. I've gotten used to it. I think walking around with something attached to my phone like this is cool, but then it's just let's make sure the phone is fine. It's cool, but I think over time you're just adding more weight to the phone. Then I'll have to take this and put away. But now if you're keeping this away, it's just as much as that. And let's say if I'm going for a hike and I need to talk through, capture some notes, having this in my pocket will not help me. Maybe you want to take this and put in your chest pocket, but is that as easy as just simply taking this and clipping to a shirt and going? So this definitely has some pluses for it. If you're just sitting in the office, and I know I'm going to rant now, and that's the goal of this channel, some part of ranting, because that's how we make decisions, right? These are not always like black and white. If I'm just sitting in an office and I just want this to be right there, it's easy, sure. But if you're going to be active and doing work, then the case really starts going to Soundcore. And I have a lot of Soundcore things as well. I have a Soundcore headbuds. So is it something where you just go all in on the Soundcore ecosystem? And hopefully Soundcore is gonna get their act together and build more software and have a tightly integrated ecosystem. Then it becomes better that way. Yeah, so there is it. There it is. I like this, but I might end up keeping this one. So we'll see. I'll come back and update you guys which one I end up keeping. I still have a couple of days to do my testing before I have to decide which one to keep. But worst case scenario, it might be this just for the integration. Because without the integrations, I'm just gonna have all my notes here and struggle to take them to Google Drive, and then it becomes not as useful for what I'm trying to do, which is to apply AI to the notes I want to take. So I'm guessing that I'll most likely go with this. But if I change my mind, I'll let you guys know, even though the form factor for this is a plus. And we'll see too if Nota comes up with a different form factor. Because some of them have, which was the other one I looked at? Plot. Plot has something like this, the credit card form, and then they also have like a note, a little bot you can put on a keychain and such. And this one, you can really do that approach of putting a keychain here and hanging it on your neck if you really wanted to, let's say, go hardcore. But yeah, I'm not crazy over this form factor. The only thing that will get me to this is the integration. As long as I have a solution with good integration, I'll be fine. But right now, Nota seems to be the winner. What do you guys think? Which one do you use? Which one should I look at? Is this helpful? I might do more videos like this if there's help around it. Maybe I'll do a video about my Garmin watch and how powerful that is. I might do a video about this Boya that I use to record. What else? All these gadgets. I might just do some videos and commentaries around. If you guys think it's cool, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll make those videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the comment section.